This is Russ Andersson. Once a 360 VR scene has been match moved in SynthEyes, there are a number of methods to determine which way is up, i.e. where the horizon line should be in the finished shot. Now, this tutorial is going to show one method that provides some reasonable physical insight about 360 VR. And we're starting here with this already solved scene, and we're using the same starting point for a couple different tutorials on different alignment methods. In this particular method, we're going to do it within the 3D panel and the perspective view. And our first task is going to be to move the entire scene down to the origin. So I'm just hitting 0 and tab, and I moved the whole thing down to the origin. I don't really need to see the trackers anymore, so I'm just going to turn them off. Notice you can use the J key to turn those on and off quickly. Next, I'm going to create a spherical screen that's going to be holding our footage, and it's surrounding the camera and actually traveling with it. It also is textured with the shot itself. I'm going to turn off those lines there that are a little distracting in this case. So here's our shot, and you notice there's the horizon line here, and there's the grid. So I can go spinning around here and look at this, and we're looking at the inside of this sphere that contains the shot. And if we wanted to, we could actually look at the outside of it by selecting the sphere and turning on back faces, but it's actually more useful to look at the inside. So what we want to have happen is we want this horizon line to line up with the grid, because the grid is right there level with the camera. So to do that, we can go over, switch to the rotate tool here, and select pan, tilt, and roll angles, just to start adjusting them until the horizon line lines up reasonably. So we're looking at the end of these grid lines here, and we can go and spin all around and see how this comes out all the way around. So here we have the horizon line to act as a reference, but on some other sort of shots, if there was rock all around it or something, we could be doing this to line up however we wanted. But no fear, however we choose here, the shot's still going to be solid. It's still going to be stable. We're just determining the answer to the which way is up question. So once we've done that, now we're ready to run our stabilize from camera path script that's going to go and apply the stabilization to the images throughout the shot using the orientation, this horizon line that we just set up. Note that this red line is not a horizon line. That's just from the mask when we did the initial tracking. There's our stabilized shot. This is what we would export either directly or to downstream applications. Just to point out, if you go back and look here in the 3D view, the perspective view, the shot is actually no longer appears to be stable here in this view, and that's because of the way this sphere has been constructed. Actually, what you're seeing in here now is the result of a double stabilization, actually, due to the way that that was constructed initially. If you want to look at the stabilized shot, you have two things you could do. One would be to reparent the sphere directly to the camera. The other is really just to turn on the lock. Turn that off so it's not visible at all. And now you're using the viewer that's built into the perspective view to look around in your shot, just like you were using a head-mounted display, so you can look on particular things and see the stabilized version of your shot. So there are some details to how that sphere has been constructed, and we're kind of using it slightly different way than usual in order to do this particular kind of alignment and be able to show what's going on. And it really is a key point for people to understand that 360 VR shots are spheres, and you can go and spin that entire image around. There's no loss of information. There's no part that's cut off. There's no part that needs to be zoomed like it would be with a conventional flat camera shot. So 360 VR is really kind of unique and very cool for that reason. You can spin it around, stabilize it without loss of information. So thanks for watching.